The Lapis Lazuli Academy is both tranquil and peaceful. Some classmates come up to greet Tiara Rose, Lapis, Clementine. They were sad with tomorrow being graduation, knowing they wouldn't see each other anymore. However, she was optimistic they would. She'd always be here in the kingdom of Lapis Lazuli, after all. Marietta expressed optimism, since Tiara was their future queen. Valerian asked when her wedding was with Prince Heartknights, and Tiara answered after graduating, she'd undergo bridal training for a year, and then they'd hold their wedding in the cathedral. She promised to do her best to live up to everyone's expectations. Tiara Rose was the daughter of the Marquis and Prime Minister, who was bestowed the Lapis name, and fiancé of the Crown Prince. She smiled with glee, seeing her prince. However, Heartknights seemed grim. A black-haired girl would come running into his arms. Tiara couldn't believe this was happening. We see a blurred vision of a girl playing her favorite otome. This girl absolutely loved Heartknight's gorgeous looks. His gentle way of telling her, "I want you to live with me, now and forever." The girl clicked yes, with no hesitation, achieving a new CG event and finally clearing his route. She loved the otome game, the Ring of Lapis Lazuli, so much she couldn't put it down. She'd be met with surprise that Tiara Rose would walk up to her, saying, "You're just a lowly commoner. Stay away from my Heartknights. You're an eyesore." Now the girl inhabiting Tiara's body realized she was Tiara. She fell over. The girl who gamed was her previous life. She reincarnated as the Villainess. She woke up in the infirmary with Heartknights by her side. He told her to get more sleep. He was arranging a carriage for her now. Heartknight's Lapis Lazuli Lackmouth was the first prince of the kingdom and the main route in the otome game. He pointed out that was her first time passing out, and asked if she was trying to catch his eye because he was giving Akari so much affection. His eyes were cold, nothing like Heartknight's in the game. She apologized, answering she really was under the weather. He was alright with it, because he was technically her fiancé. The word technically caused her heart to ache. He knew tomorrow was the graduation party, but he had business to attend to, and apologized, but he wouldn't be able to escort her there. Was there any greater humiliation than not being escorted to a party by her fiancé? She knew what happened in the story from this point on, because she played the game so many times. The main route was Heartknights. The heroine enrolls at the academy with her powerful magic, the Holy Prayer, and meets Heartknights. He was the most popular student, yet constantly showered the heroine with affection, smiling at her kindly, whispering sweet lines to her. And after the ending scene, they have a grand wedding at the cathedral. But Tiara wasn't the heroine. Instead, the harsh Villainess, who constantly chastised the heroine, not wanting to lose her prince. At the graduation party, she's condemned for her contempt of the heroine, and her engagement gets called off. In this timeline, Tiara hadn't done anything mean, but she'd like to avoid the condemnation event if she could. Unfortunately, today was the game's ending. Only a bad end awaited. She couldn't remember what happened after this event, but there was no happy ending where the Villainess ended up with someone. At home, she was greeted by her maid, Feline. The Lapis name is an honor bestowed upon the families of those who perform great deeds for the royal family. She'd be met with surprise with both of her parents greeting her. They rarely welcomed her home personally. However, they wanted to give her lovely accessories she could wear at her wedding, as well as eat sweets. They wouldn't be able to spend as much time doing this together like they used to. Her father knew it was too soon to start crying, but he'd miss his dear Tiara. Being the daughter of the Marquis, granted the Lapis name, she's been undergoing training to become queen since she was young. As the crown prince's fiancée, she's worked hard at studying all sorts of subjects. Her father often told her if her husband seemed like he was about to take a wrong turn, she needed to correct him. It may have been strenuous at times, but she did it all out of love for the prince. Unfortunately, she didn't get through to him. She really loved his character though, and considered skipping the graduation party, but it'd be bad for the daughter of a marquis. The last thing she wanted was to trouble her dear mother and father. Heartknights was playing his role, and she couldn't change her own either. She wondered what was going to happen to her. That night, a mysterious boy enveloped his body in magic. He uttered Tiara Rose's name, yearning for her. At the condemnation event, Tiara's friends were angry about Lady Akari's behavior. She hung around Prince Heartknights too much. No matter what, they were on Tiara's side. After they left, her hand started to tremble. She prepared herself for this, but she was still scared. To cheer her up, Feline brought her a whole tray of sweets. Tiara loved baking and eating sweets ever since her previous life. Eating them made her very happy. Akari suddenly barged in, asking if Tiara was alright. The conversation exchange they had was pleasant. Tiara was sure she was the heroine of the otome. A cute, luxurious dress, shining jewels, the sweet nature of an angel. She was everything you'd expect of the game's heroine to be. Akari expressed worry since Tiara's collapse yesterday. Heart Knightson came in, checking on her since Akari was. The entire interaction hung around his arm. Reaching the ballroom, Tiara knew the event was going to start when she went past the doors. The people began to clamor, questioning why Tiara was entering alone without her fiancé, and Heart Knights would then declare in front of everyone that their engagement was off. Tiara's father began to panic and started to approach. But Tiara shook her head no. She asked Heart Knights the reason. If he wanted to take a consort, there were proper procedures he could follow. He berated her for talking back to a member of the royal family, and explained she said many harsh things to Akari after learning she grew up in the countryside, told Akari to kneel when greeting him, and that she shouldn't dance with him either. Tiara logically answered that she just helped Akari learn some things, not being accustomed to life here, that she was to kneel before Heart Knights, since he was crowned prince, and that other time, Akari had already danced with him more than twice, something only one's fiancé should do. All perfectly reasonable explanations. Heart Knights gulped. He was losing, going, but, Akari said you're always mean to her. Tiara knew any defense of her innocence would be fruitless. Whether it was because the heroine conquered him, or it was a revision to the game, it all went according to the story in the end. With a sad expression, she asked if his heart truly belonged to Lady Akari. He ended his engagement to Tiara and declared his new engagement with her, making Akari future queen. Bruh, her smile pissing me off. Even though it was over, Tiara still had her kind parents, as well as Feline and her friends. But that would come shattering, with the prince declaring the crime of harming the future queen unforgivable. He thereby banished Tiara from the kingdom. He was too cruel, but she couldn't defy his order. Now, she wouldn't be able to see any of her loved ones again. The mysterious boy would cut in, saying, "That's enough." He walked towards, asking Tiara if she was alright. This was the first prince of the foreign kingdom Marine Forest, Aquasteed Marine Forest, and still one of the worst naming of characters I've ever heard. He was the main character of the game's sequel. Tiara fell in love the moment she first saw his design, but she died before the sequel was even released. She wondered what he was doing here. He told her to stand tall in all her pride. She was more righteous and beautiful than anyone here. Heart Knights told him to stay out of this, because she needed to be condemned. Aqua countered, however, that it seemed Heart Knight's words had been way harsher than hers. He broke his engagement off at a graduation party, a celebratory event, criticizing a lone woman in front of everyone and humiliated her. Things a crown prince should not do. Now that Tiara's old engagement was done, Aqua got on one knee, asking to be the one to save her heart. He's wanted desperately to make her his for a long time. She was flattered, but wondered why the sequel prince was proposing to her. He knew this was sudden, but gently kissed her hand, hoping she'd consider regardless. The guests were all surprised. In this moment, it's like they were the only ones here. Akari told them to wait. She couldn't accept this. She asked why Aqua chose her, because Tiara was terribly mean and belligerent. She grabbed Aqua's arm, telling him to join them. But Tiara would warn her that he was a foreign prince. She wasn't supposed to touch him like that. Aqua pulled away, thanking Tiara for her concern, for disrespecting him. He had the guards take Akari away. Despite knowing they should be past the game's ending, Tiara wondered what was going to happen now. Alright, a drama-packed start to this series. For those of you who've been hanging around the channel for a while now, you'd know this otome was one of the first I played on stream. And while I didn't finish it, I'm glad it's finally getting an adaptation. The names are totally ridiculous though. Subscribe to keep up with future parts. But for now, watch this next video. It's me, Comfy T. I'll see you all in the next one.